Greetings, everyone. DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey, guys, I just want to take a moment to remind you of some very critical things that you need to be thinking about. I'm going to be a little provocative here in terms of thought provocative, not any other kind of provocation. But then again, it may lead you to some other kind of provocation, and that might even be necessary once you hear everything that I want to share with you in this next 14 minutes. First and foremost, I want to bring to your attention again. Have you guys given any consideration as of late as far as preparation for a crisis in the United States? And what I mean by that, is some type of what would be considered a catastrophic event, intentionally, I might add, an intentional catastrophic event to create enough chaos in the United States to force you into FEMA camps. Have you prepared yourself so that when that crisis, which is going to come, happens, that you're not in a situation that you have to voluntarily go to FEMA camps because you will not be able to get water, you will not be able to get food, electricity, warmth, all those things that you need for the daily essentials of life. Because in a catastrophic event, remember, it's not all the food is going to be gone out of the stores. So it's not like you can go in a riot and and raid supermarkets and things like that. Those supermarkets that would not have already been commandeered by the United States of America, and trust me, the military already has a plan to commandeer those places that mobs haven't gone in and taken everything before they can get there. So are you prepared for that? Or have you not taken any precautions and you're just going to march your little self and your little family right to one of those FEMA camps and stay right there under military control until they decide which one of you are going to survive and which one of you are not going to survive? And I know you're saying, well, how do you draw that conclusion? Well, I'm drawing that conclusion because we have history to back up that can happen. And when you look at all the provocation that's going on right now, especially as it relates to race, a lot of provocation going on with that. I'll give you a couple of examples. The situation with Balton John. A police officer goes into his house, shoots him dead. Let's see what the public is going to do. Okay, we see nothing. Good. Let's take and do it again. But this time, let's go and shoot a woman in her home. Antiana. Let's shoot her in her home. Let's see what the people are going to do. Okay, we did it. Nothing. Okay, so 1, 2, good. All right, how about the FEMA camps? You guys remember a while back, a couple of years back, when they were talking about all those Wal-Mart stores that were open or were being built, but it never supplied the stores never opened up. You guys remember that? This probably maybe somewhere between almost 10 years ago. Well, if you look at those places now, guess who's in a lot of those places? The immigrants, right? They're in the detention centers, and most of those detention centers are Walmarts. Now, there were people telling us and warning us that those Walmarts were being built for something other than grocery stores. But most of us counted those people as conspiracy theorists. They don't know what they're talking about. And we brushed them off. And because of, I don't know, maybe what we're drinking in the water, most of us have no ability to go back in reflection and connect the dots. Now you say, okay, well, all right, we're with you right now, DFG. Well, why would they put immigrants in these detention centers? Oh, I got a pretty good idea why. To test them, to see how they function, to learn what they need to know, to make sure those camps are fully operational when this crisis comes into play. And you say, well, DFG, why do they want a crisis? So that they can implement the New World Order. You've heard every president from early George Bush, really you heard Kennedy talking about it. All of them, a New World Order, a New World Government, a New World Order, a New World Government. We've heard them talk about it all the time. I don't talk about many, many times. But like most of us, our attention span, that's what I was saying, I'm going to give you a funny. It's like a gnat on crack. Now that's my funny, okay? Most people's attention span is like a gnat on crack. Okay? I got my little funny out of the way. Okay? Not so funny. But it's truth. Most of us, our ability to sustain thoughts, to be able to think, critically and connect things at best are very, very, very limited. Now, there are some exceptions out there. Maybe you're an exception. Because if you've considered up to everything that I've said up to this point and you've taken steps already up until this point, then obviously this information that I'm sharing to you is, as like the old saying, preaching to the choir. But for all of you who continue to think, oh, they will never do it. They would never, ever do it. Okay. Let me give you some evidence that it has already been done right here in the United States. And you guys have heard of Executive Order 9066? 9066. You say, well, okay, no, I never heard of it. I suspect if you heard of it, just put it in the comments, Dale, I heard of it. DFG, I heard of it. Okay? Just put it in, I heard of it. So at least I can say, okay, well, someone else other than myself, in this particular video message was aware of it. But it's the Japanese internment camps. During World War II, the federal government had the military go around and collect Japanese American citizens and put them in internment camps because they saw them as a threat to the security of the United States. That was Executive Order 9066. That was implemented. Oh, and by the way, they did get reparations for that. The Japanese, their descendants got reparations for that. Okay? But I digress. How many guys have heard of Executive Order 13603? 13603. Most of you probably haven't heard of it. That executive order was put in place in 2012 by, guess who? Barack Hussein, Obama. And Executive Order 13603, I gotta look at my note here, 603 is pretty much saying that in a national crisis, the government can force all of you guys into internment camps. They can seize your property. It can seize your families. It can force you into forced labor, etc., etc., etc. It's on the books. And you say, well, again, well, what would be the motivation behind it? Let me say it to you again. It's called the New World Order. Okay, but what kind of crisis? I don't know. You go back and look at all of the antagonism, putting Donald Trump in office, of a well-known, straight-out, open racist. And look at how many of, the racist supporters of Donald Trump. I'm not saying everybody that supports Donald Trump is a racist, but look how many racist supporters of Donald Trump are out there. You don't think those folk, if they're racist by nature, they're raised as bigots and white supremacists, that you don't think they would be ready and willing and prepared, I might add, if a national crisis is kicked off that's race-related, that they won't take it to the streets and they won't be hunting many of you down, many of these copper color Hebrew Israelites? You don't think they will be hunting you down in the streets? You don't need a lot of genius to agree with what I'm saying. You got history to back that up. Black Wall Street, for example, Rosewood, the rise in Detroit, the rise right after Reconstruction in New Orleans, 1876, I believe that was. The ones in Memphis and some of those other cities in the late 1800s. Well-documented history that they'll do it. But in this time when it's done, it's going to be a race riot, all right. But then the federal government's going to come into play this time. But this time the federal government is not going to be on the side of the whites. The federal government is going to be on the side of the elite. Because they're going to throw the white racist asses right in the FEMA camps with the blacks, the Asians, the Hispanics, and every other ethnic group that's in this country. Oh yeah, it's going to happen. And they're going to force you in there. Unless somehow or another you're living off the grid and you have enough preparation, you have taken enough steps to be able to sustain yourself. And even then, I don't know for how long, but maybe long enough till the big blow goes over. But that's going to be the few. Most of the people who are listening to me and most of the people who are never going to hear this message are going to be marching right down those lines into those FEMA camps Voluntarily, I might add. Again, because what are you going to do if you don't have food, you don't have electricity, you don't have heat, you don't have water? Did you know in some states it's against the law right now to collect rainwater? Rainwater from the sky is illegal in many states. Many states it's illegal to even grow your own food. Did you know that? I suspect many of you don't know that. You're not even interested in knowing it, many of you. Most of you are going to wait on Jesus. I know what you're going to do. And then there ain't going to be no Jesus. Okay? Ain't going to be no Jesus to come get you out of this. Because guess what? In wrapping this video up, I'm going to tell you what Yahuwah had to say about this. Yeah. Someone who you call Jesus. Let's, for the sake of this conversation, let me tell you what Jesus had to say about this. Are you ready? Open your book. Some of you call it the Bible. Let's go to Revelation chapter 13. Okay? Let's get to it. How much time we got here? All right. Yeah, we can get through this. Let's go to Revelation 13. Let's see, what does Jesus say? Remember the bands a while back? What would Jesus do? Let's see what Jesus said. Now, this is what Yeshua, who they want to call Jesus, told to John, the Revelator. This is what Jesus told him exactly. He says, and he deceived them that dwell upon the earth by the means of the miracles which had the power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. That's about, okay, I'm going to skip a couple of verses. You can go back and read all of 13. But I want to get right to the meat of what I'm talking about right here. And then he goes on, he says in verse 16, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, so this is going to be all inclusive, free and bond, so those who are in prison, those who are not in prison, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. So in other words, you're not going to be able to buy any food, you're not going to be able to sell any food, you're not going to be able to buy any goods, you're not going to be able to sell any goods except that he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So in other words, if you're not a part of the one world system, the new world order, you're not going to be able to do anything independent of the new world order government. That's why you see AI, robots, and those things are coming onto they're bringing that out now. That's why you see 5G coming out now. They're getting ready, guys. They're not signaling you, they're signaling each other. They're testing things right now just to make sure that everything is in place. So when they pull that lever, as the book says he's going to do, he's going to force them all to take the mark. And if they don't take that mark, some people say it's a chip, some people says it's something else. But at the end of the day, talk about a chip, in your skin. Some say it's other things. But at the end of the day, it says he's going to force all of them to do it. With the few exception of the elect of the Most High. Those are those who have the seal of the Most High, as the scriptures say, in their forehead. They will be the only ones. But many of those who resist for the name of Yeshua, you're going to be slaughtered. Let me say it better. We are going to die. Many of us who are going to resist. I already know I'm going to resist. If I'm still here, I may, Yahweh may take me out before that happens. And there's even some validation that many of us will be taken out before that happens. But there will be many left. Okay? But I'm going to read it to you one more time. And he calls this all, both small and great. That's little children and grandparents. Rich and poor. Free and bond. To receive the mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell except that he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of the beast. Here's wisdom. Let him has understanding calculate the number of the beast. For his number is the number of man, and most of you guys have heard that number, 666. Now there you have it. You got Executive 9066, where they've done it. Executive Order 1306, where they're going to do it. But most importantly, you got Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 18, telling you it's going to get done. And with all that information, my question for you, what you going to do?